excused tonight. We do have a couple of announcements. One, voting day is a week from tomorrow, April the 14th, at the James Mastrocola Upper Elementary School. So please get out and state your intentions, participate. You know, it's we the people, and if the people don't participate, it is what it is. So also, the Conservation Commission has 2 openings right now. We have an opening for a full-time member and an opening for an alternate member. So if you're interested in serving the town, you don't have to be experienced. We're not. We all started at some place, so all you really need is a good attitude and a willingness to participate. So, and I think that's pretty much what the council's looking for when they appoint. So if you're interested, please get a hold of Becky Thompson in the town manager's office or see the town website to learn more about it. All right, so that's all I have for announcements. Anyone have anything else? All right, so it is 6:35 p.m. for our minutes taker who is catching the video later. Now is a point for public comment. Anyone wish to address any items on the agenda? Or you're probably all part of my agenda. So, all right, so with that said, the next item is appointments, and then I will welcome, is it Life Scout, Joe? Yeah. Joe Mrose? Yep, have a seat, join us. All I ask is that you sign the sign-in sheet and list your address or business. So, and that sheet's right there in front of you. Yeah, please. Yep. So do you need help getting your computer started and all that?
No, I just have to open the lid.
Okay. So, it looks that way. Yeah, he's got the power to turn on the projector, so. And we're all pretty informal here, so. So don't worry about formalities and whatever else, so.
What's this column supposed to mean? Third column?
I'm not sure. So all you really need is your name and your address on there.
Okay.
That's all. That works for us. So. All right, and
Turn that on too.
you'll have to push the power button on that controller right in front of you.
This.
Yep. Yeah. And nope. Yeah, there you go. Yep. So all I know is you want to do a project, so you'll have to let us know.
So, hi, my name is Joseph Mraz, and I'm here to talk to you about my Eagle project, which is a trail at Greater Woods, and I'm here to obtain your approval. Am I speaking into this? Or
Yeah, you're good.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off by giving a brief introduction of the project and the background, and then I'm going to get into details and logistics of the project, and then I'm going to finish off with the next steps.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said earlier,
It's, yeah, it's. Well, that's fine.
should I continue or?
We should be able to get it to pop up. Do you have a separate button you got to hit to get the video to go out?
Came up
So-
earlier.
Sometimes it's a function and a video button.
Let me try escaping.
It,
Yeah.
yeah, well, he started the projector after the computer this time, so. Yeah, that's right.
Except the guy's holding an 8-pound sledge.
Mm.
Try restarting this.
Technical difficulties. Happens all the time.
Yeah, this is the low tech.
Yeah.
Talking about a new one, which probably should.
some money in next year's budget to do some work here.
Yeah.
So it's a little late to get on the ballot now. Right? What's that? It's a little late to get this on the ballot now.
Yeah. Just squeeze it out of somewhere, that's all, right?
No, it's in the operating.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Cool.
I'll just hit one of those lights so that you can see.
Yeah. You got that?
Do you want me to start from the beginning or go
Nope,
slide?
no, you're good.
Okay. So, like I said, my name is Joseph Mraz. I'm working on my Eagle project. I'm a high school sophomore at Nashua High School North.
Mm-hmm.
And my Eagle advisor is Mr. Eric Faust. My goal is to just build a trail. I have 3 reasons why I actually want to build this trail.
Mhm.
First reason is I just want to help the community by making the forest more usable for people. The next one is I want to have hikers and mountain bikers to enjoy nature while being safe. And the third reason is back when I was a little Cub Scout, my brother really influenced me when he did his trail at Horse Hill Nature Preserve. He did the bypass. So that's why I really wanted to do this. So the trail will be half a mile long of Category B. For those who don't know what Category B is, it's meant for mountain bikers and hikers, cross-country skiers. So this trail will stay within the park and not encroach on any wetlands. It will connect the Red Maple and Brickyard trails, which I can show in the next slide. There will be a 12 to 20 foot section bridge. 12 to 20 foot section bridge going over a seasonal runoff, which I can show in the couple pictures. That the trail will not harm the forest. I'm doing as minimal impact as possible. So as you can see in this picture, you have the vertical dotted line. I'd say it's kind of vertical. That's the Red Maple Trail. The solid black line, which is labeled Brickyard. And then you have that red kind of funky trail, that's mine. And then I pinpointed where the bridge will be. So now at the bridge site, you have where my Eagle advisor is standing. That's where the start of the bridge will be. And the end will be kind of by the bottom right hand corner. Can show a better picture. So where that big rock is at the bottom of the screen, that's where the beginning will be. And where those 2 twin trees are in the background, that's where the end of the bridge will be. So you kind of have an awkward angle. So my progress so far is back in November, Mr. Karen, myself, and my Eagle advisor, we went out and we kind of looked at a trail where Mr. Karen thought it was good for. We picked a trail type, Category B. He defined a start and end to the trail, and then we figured out where we can and cannot go. For example, we have to stay 250 feet away from water sources. Then I did a second walkthrough with my Eagle advisor on January 3rd. And
Before the snow.
yeah, before all this snow, we were lucky, where we marked and mapped the trail. And then on January 20th, I presented the Greater Woods Subcommittee where I was approved, which is why I'm here tonight. So upon approval, sometime this week, I'm going to be going back, rewalking the trail for seasonal runoffs, and after rainfall. Then I'm going to raise funds, which I'll get into in the next slide. Then I'm going to cut and clear the trail once I get the project started. I'm going to build the bridge in place, and then I'm going to put up trail markers. For Category B, it was triangle-shaped trail markers that were painted blue, if I'm correct. And then I'll be taking down my pink tape flags that I put up.
And we're supplying the trail markers, correct?
If you guys can supply it, that would be great, but
We will, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I guess that was a statement more than a question. We will supply the trail markers. That-
okay, that actually makes it easier for me.
Right.
So I can cross 2 items off my list.
Yeah, just that way we're consistent and we have them, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I need pressure treated wood for the bridge, galvanized screws or nails, whichever one is better, and then food for volunteers. I'll be getting this by doing bake sales at local stores, and I'll be getting the baked goods by scouts that help volunteer, and myself and my family. I may also do some car washes. In the bottom right picture, you can see a bridge that's already at Greater Woods. That's what my bridge will be based off of. Nothing too fancy. I'm gonna have scouts from Troop 424 and maybe from other troops help me out. I'm gonna have family and friends help me out, along with people from my robotics team. I'm gonna kind of recruit them by sending out emails to how do I want to word this? To influence them to help me, and I will also present to them like I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to start this project, not fundraising, but actually start the project late summer of 2015 and finish early fall. The chart below, that's based off past Eagle projects similar to mine. So fundraisers, how long it took them to raise funds. So do you want me to move on to the next slide?
Yep.
Okay. So I gave you a brief introduction, the background of the project. Then I gave you the details and logistics. So now I'm going to finish off with my next steps, which is approvals. Fun. So I already got Greater Woods subcommittees, like I've already said. Now I'm in front of the Conservation Commission. After I get your approval, I go on to Town Council and my Troops Committee and the District Advancement Eagle Board. Fun. So thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
So were you with the subcommittee when they reviewed it? This trail gives us what does it add to Greater Woods?
We've got two trails that are, I don't want to say running parallel, but two trails that are running in kind of a parallel track, and this is going to connect the two, so we have a smaller loop.
Okay.
And, it's just a more nice trail. It's an interesting area where he's going through,
Mhm.
and it's one that we have some foot traffic through now, people going off trail. So we figured this would be a good spot to actually add something.
Cool. Great. So did you help your brother put in his trail?
I was just kind of the messenger boy up and down.
So that's a yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Kind of.
He did it on a hill, though, didn't he? Right? Did
Yeah,
you, the bypass
That's
on
his-
Blodgett, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was
That's
on a
squiggly,
hill.
Yeah. So you'll probably have a little bit of an easier time then.
Yeah.
So, except for getting your materials in, right?
Yeah.
So how are you planning on doing that? Getting most of your materials close to your project?
I'm gonna have scouts carry it in.
Oh, I thought that's why he was going to have the robotics team there.
Oh, them too.
So,
It's during summer, so if we could ask, it shouldn't be an issue.
yeah, because we have improved the Gateway Trail getting in. Well, I'm not sure how close to the Red Maple Trail it is, but
Yeah, at least getting it down the bottom of that hill would be
yeah,
helpful,
right.
because that's going to be the worst part of that, is getting it down and then off to that side. So
Yeah, so you should probably coordinate with Mr. Karen on that idea of trying to get you a little bit closer, because we can probably get through the gates,
Yeah.
but we need advance notice. if
I
you wanna do
heard that I had to contact the school to get the gate to open.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, there's a process to do that, yeah.
I can do that if you guys want me to.
Well, it's really up to you. It depends on how far you want to walk with all that stuff.
It would be close, you can get the materials closer to your work site.
So
Pickup truck or something.
yeah, I'll probably do that instead.
Yeah.
I wanted them to hike it
Right.
and
Well,
torture.
And you may even decide that you build part of your bridge in sections and bring in the sections and do final assembly
I
on
was
site.
told I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to have scouts carry big things and
Pieces?
like
Okay,
that.
all right. Okay, well, I understand that. Yeah, I'm not sure how far you had to go in, so.
Yeah. but we can work on that. I mean, he's working he's working closely with Matt on this. So
Yeah.
and Matt and I have been in contact about this stuff. So we can we can work that part out.
All right. So, yeah, so we rely on our subcommittee to give us, you know, the right advice and all that, and as long as they say it's a good thing, I'm sure it's a good thing, so. We certainly appreciate the help. Now, do you want one of us to come to the town council meeting to be backup, to say, yeah, we agree? Do you need that support?
That would be great.
Okay, so, all right, so let us know, one of us know when you're scheduled to appear then.
Okay.
Okay.
I can send Mr. Karen an email, and
That'd be
he can
great.
send you all an email.
Yeah. Okay.
Where Matt's been the point of contact for this, then I would continue to work through him, and he can draw from either the subcommittee or this committee for whatever resources.
So, the other thing is if you're gonna do a fundraiser such as a car wash or something that encourages the public to participate, we do have a website, so if we know ahead of time, we can put it up on our website,
Okay.
right?
Thank
Give you a
you.
little advertising, so, no,
Thank you.
we appreciate the help, so we'll try to help you as much as we can, so,
Thank you.
all right? So, anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
So,
Got a motion to approve the project as it's presented?
and Cindy seconds it, great. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye, that passes 5-0-0. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, appreciate it, so.
How do I turn this off?
Don't worry, the next,
Don't worry.
Oh.
yeah, the next person's gonna need it anyway, so.
That's all right. You're good. It's fine. It's fine. Does anyone else need the projector for anything?
Yeah, just hit the power button on the front and hit it one more time, or is it, nope, I guess
Yep.
it's good, okay. Some of them take a double hit, so.
Is your brother gonna help you?
Yeah, he'll be home.
Yeah.
His brother is going to be officially an assistant scoutmaster in the troop.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Oh,
Scout
good for him.
master, the answer to that would be yes.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
You pick. Good, yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No problem. We appreciate the time you put in.
Karen email when my next meeting is.
Okay.
Contact you guys.
Great. Yeah. I guess it didn't go down, did it? I can't see the message because you're blocking it. Yeah, you have to hit one more time.
There you go.
All right, good. All right, so next on our agenda is Button Homes LLC. This is for the,
Am I up?
you're up.
Members of the commission, my name is Earl Sanford of Sanford Surveying and Engineering. Present for Donna Kuzmierczuk, I guess it's pronunciation. I'm not sure
Oh.
how to.
Yeah, we didn't get.
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Is this something, is it all right if I just kind of hold it like this?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
I will need you to sign in for me, though, if you don't mind
Okay.
taking a moment.
While you're holding that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They told me you'd make me jump through hoops.
Yeah. Just like we did the last time you were here.
I need to buy more glasses. I left mine at home.
All right, signed in. Basically, I'm here because the project manager had to go to another meeting. And so I'm stuck with it for the evening, but I've got some familiarity with the project. It's basically a two-lot subdivision. off of Bedford Road. There's an existing house with two outbuildings, and those may or may not be taken down. Likely they will be. We've designed it so it does not impact any wetlands, so we're not here as part of a dredge and fill or anything like that. But my understanding, and I'm not familiar with the procedure very well, so I probably could learn something too, is that because we have we're an aquifer protection district, that triggers being here.
Yes. Yep.
So, so that's why I'm here, and I guess it has water and sewer, so these are small lots, but it's not so bad. It'd be a little more difficult if I don't think you could do this if it had to have on-site water and sewer, but with the water and sewer in the street, well, actually, in one case, the sewer's over here, and we've got a memo that's where they want us to tie in. But with water and sewer, the proposed house would be going in this building envelope out in the back. We're not looking for any leniency in terms of wetland setbacks, and again, no impact. It is a kind of a strange lot in that there's this large culvert which goes through the property. It's discontinued just before the property line, and then it continues on indefinitely as far as my eye could see when I was out there, but I did not try to hike down. So clearly there's some historical stuff with the lot, but I'm not sure who put that pipe in or whatever, but there is flow through that from a wetland over here. There's also, is it a church, I believe?
Church, yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
And there was some indication that perhaps it did used to flow more this way, but it's been rerouted, or regardless, that's off-site. But what you've seen in brown is the wetland that we're avoiding. Now, we do have two structures that are within, but that's, which will probably be coming down, but not knowing the timing and everything, I didn't want to make that as a must-happen for this permit.
The two that you're saying are coming down, is the garage and the shed?
Well, all three are being considered, and Brian Button is here, who would be doing the work, that can perhaps answer some of those questions too, but he hasn't signed in, so he's got to be silent, right?
He's certainly welcome to join you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
you certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the project plan describes the removal of all the three structures, I thought.
It's been, I think tentatively that is the current plan, but I think it's gone.
I read that differently. I thought they were going to build a new one here and then a new one here. So
That's the end goal, is to put a house in the back and take this old one down, take this old stuff down, and put a new house there. But my partner Lori might want to rent out this house for a while. So,
Okay.
but then eventually down the road, maybe take the house down.
So where would you put the new structure
The
then?
new structure would stay where the old house is right now.
Yeah.
Just this one right here.
Yep, and then we would take the garage out of there, and we would take that old junky shed out of there, so it wouldn't be in the wetland anymore.
Okay. All right.
And then the other lot, the house would be set far back in that buildable area in the back.
It's in the clear area where
Yeah.
the trees aren't?
There's no trees there, yeah. It's
It's
just a cleared out area.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with the site.
Yeah. So that was the intention and idea with the
Right.
property.
So
Not to
you-
impact any wetlands, probably, and in the long run, maybe making it better, actually getting that stuff out of there.
Yeah, that's why I was curious where the new home on the existing house lot was going to go. So,
It's in the perfect spot for another house, really, actually. They usually always picked a pretty good spot when they built old houses.
yeah,
So it's up high.
yeah,
that's-
yeah. The existing structures that are in the buffer zone are the ones that I was hoping that were going
Right.
to get removed. So,
Are ARM funds for groups like us, or is it to the public too? I never thought of it
I
from a
don't,
public point of view,
I don't know.
because that's, restoration of wetlands and riparian zone, which is potentially something that they may look at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you familiar with ARM funding?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
We got an email or something? Did you put an email down on there or
I'll
something
put
like
it on
that?
there, yeah.
I don't normally get that sheet, but I can ask for it.
Yeah, we can, it's a source of funding that might be available. I didn't know. That would have to be, you'd have to go contact the state on that.
Oh,
but
really?
They,
In the restoration process.
in the restoration, in the restoration process of wetlands and the buffer zone, so.
Is that town sewer there?
Yep, town water and town sewer, yep.
And that's going to the existing house now?
The existing house has town water and town sewer, and the new house that would be built out back, we're hoping we can tie into an easement line running between the property and the church.
We've got a memo that actually said they want us to use this sewer manhole right here to tie into. So rather than bringing it all the way from the street, well, half the distance will have been,
And then this way we could,
Eliminated.
we could avoid cutting into the street and then running a extra long line, so,
And is this darkened space here, is gonna be the driveway?
yes.
Or
yeah,
is-
this
okay.
is
Yeah.
this is the proposed driveway. And I guess I'm here also just to make sure I get an understanding of the process, to get a blessing, to make sure that we're complying with anything that has to do with the aquifer protection. I mean, usually it needs some notes about hazardous waste and some things like that, but in other towns. But I'm not familiar with Merrimack, so I'm here to kind of learn a little bit of what we need to do to, to make this as environmentally friendly a project as we can.
Well, when I look at the proposed driveway, I see that it encroaches on the buffer zone. So if you want to make
That's not the buffer zone, that's the setback
the setback, right,
houses. The
Right.
buffer's a little tighter.
Gotcha,
We
all
were
right.
able to get around that.
okay,
And there's already actually an existing driveway there,
yeah.
so,
It-
that
it's-
we figured that's the best place to put it, rather than try to, carve through the wetland and go for
Yeah, yeah,
dredge and fill and stuff like that, so.
And mapping out that wetland is a little bit challenged too, because it's been, that whole land's been worked and moved around. Nothing's very natural about it.
right.
So everything, I mean, just leaving it would be part of the restoration and not having a constant, I guess there was pumpkin farming or different stuff that's gone on in that site that.
Goats.
Goats, yeah, yeah.
So
Goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty bare, soil situation where it'll be nice once it gets some green, some growth,
Mhm.
which is.
Him and Bobby Holt.
So you're going to go over the existing culvert that's in there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Do we know the age of that culvert at all? I mean, is it relatively new?
No,
Is
no,
it like an RCP, or is it an old?
no,
I think it's RCP, but it looks to me as old as me.
Nah, I don't know if it's, I think
Nah.
they might have put that in the late 70s, from what I've been told. So, it's intact on the property. It's not
And it- as
intact
you
when
said
you
it-
get to the other property.
There's already a road over it now anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, if you put pavement over, it's gonna give it actually a little bit more protection.
Yeah.
So did this have to go through ZBA to get subdivided, or did it meet all the regulations?
I think it met everything.
Yeah, okay. yeah.
And we have staff memo.
Yeah, they've got 161 feet of frontage, they only need 150.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure where this falls in which residential zone, so, yeah.
And it's 40,000 square feet, so I think that's the other target.
So the well on the property, because is that something that you're going to leave open? Is that something you were going to do something with?
I didn't really even think about what to do with the well yet, so
You have some thoughts on
mean-
that, Gage?
if it's not hurting anybody and
Mhm.
you can actually use it maybe, I don't know, the water lawn or something like that,
Mhm.
just make it safe.
Yeah, I mean, there
I
is,
don't-
I have to go back and find it, but there is a DES
Yeah,
statement as to how you need to close wells, so
Right.
mark them and close them. So, and we can find that again too. And
Yeah, it just. I
What would
guess-
be
I guess
better,
that-
leave it there or
Well,
fill it in?
DES prefers that you don't try to fill them in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they have special rules on how you manage a well. If you really want to avoid someone getting into it or contaminating the well, which is a great thing because we don't want water
right.
contamination. Especially, I mean, you're not that close, but you're close enough to the Boosick Brook area
Mhm.
where flows could, and those soils are pretty loose, so that anything you pour in would go far. But they have ways to cap them, you might say,
Mhm. Okay.
that leaves them intact instead of pouring cement or anything else into it.
Right.
So
I mean, I'd rather leave it there. I mean,
Yeah,
I know somebody would love to do that,
Yeah.
with the water ban
Is
and
that
everything.
dug?
It's a dug well, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's about 15 feet
yeah,
deep.
I've only got 4 of those.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the key thing is getting a good cover over it.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
can't.
But I would check the DES website for how to deal with a well.
Okay.
It should be pretty self-explanatory. I know when I looked it up a few years ago, it was an easy read. So
Okay.
and they have some
Yeah, it's pretty
suggestions on how to deal with it. So
All right.
so that way it's safe as well.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Sounds good.
So
I'll do that.
Yeah, you gotta avoid the additional charge for irrigation from the village district.
Well, you have odd even watering, right, in Merrimack too,
yeah.
so, you
Yeah.
know.
But that area over there, not so sure that that's a problem.
well, it's been fertilized.
Yeah, it's,
well
yeah.
fertilized.
Yeah, so the well might be a little crunchy, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I would drink out of it, but.
Yeah. It's-
So, is the intent to pave that extra driveway, or is that going to stay as
Well,
as gravel, or what?
it depends. It depends on what the customer would want, really. I mean, I would probably pave it, but could also leave it gravel too.
Have you guys looked into any infiltration and runoff?
Yeah.
So, if that's paved, do we have a?
We don't because there's a lot of water feeding this pipe, and it breaks out of the ground before it hits the property line. And when we mix in our water, at least from a peak standpoint, this has like, I forget how many 100 acres or whatever that's feeding into this pipe. So I don't know if you're familiar with hydrographs, but the water, the surge of water that would be coming from the far extent of the watershed coming into this pipe, by the time it hits down to this pipe, the normal storm will have already subsided in the local area. So that, I don't know if you've heard the analogy, but if you think of raindrops as like commuters, and this would be Boston, people that are close to Boston, they get out of bed, they get into Boston, and it's no big deal. They don't clog the highways. It's the real rush comes when the bulk comes from the far tentacles or whatever, or arteries. And so as far as any surge of water, the even when we did add impervious, it did not create an increase in the peak flow at that point. And we have, I mean, by virtue of just you having that buffer, and by making things more green, from just a plain practical standpoint, you'll have a fair amount of filtering. It's not something we're right on the edge of the wetland, so that you'll get, I think, a fair amount of infiltration and treatment as it passes green surfaces to get to any open or semi-open water. I mean, it's not. It's probably running a little bit right now. I think there's a seasonality to it. But
Yeah.
when I was
Yeah,
there,
it wasn't really doing much when I went by on Saturday, so it's kind of weird how that is.
Yeah, it's
It's got so much topsoil in there that you can't really tell.
So I guess I would say, we've done the report to show that there's no peak increase. As far as treatment, the scale is small enough that we're just seeing at least 50 feet for the most part. I mean, you got one pinch point, but most of the area you're giving fairly good green area for it to filter and have treatment before it hits this well. And then this has its own, because it's not a really flowing stream, it might have some treatment value, but I know you're not supposed to use the wet one as a treatment mechanism, so I won't belabor that point by any means. But I know it does treat water very well, so that's why we protect it.
So is there anything that we'd like to pass along to the planning board as this goes into the approval cycle for them?
Maybe we want to encourage that shed, to be brought down, at least a shed, not the garage.
What kind of shape is the garage in?
It's decent. It's not great.
Is it a dirt
You could-
floor? Probably.
Sort of. It's concrete, dirt,
Yeah.
wood.
I mean,
It's whatever they needed to get out of
Yep.
that water.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as Mike brings up a good point. Obviously, the shed would be, that's well within the zone
yeah.
to take down the garage, obviously, but that's got a different purpose. If it's something that's being used, I mean,
Just
Yeah,
hope
the shed is not worth anything.
Yeah,
So
just-
that's.
right, that's,
I have no problem taking that down. The garage, if we have to take it down, that's.
Yeah,
It's already there.
my concern with with the garage is that because of the distance to the wetland is to avoid the storage of fertilizers and other chemicals or herbicides and things
Mhm.
like that in it. So-
gasoline.
Gasoline, right, because a little bit of oil gets into that water system, so.
Right.
So that's kind of, I'm assuming was it used for storage or used for vehicles?
I don't.
No.
I have no idea. It's
Right.
just right now. It's just full of junk.
Full of junk. Okay,
So-
yeah, okay,
There hasn't been a vehicle in there in a long time.
all right. So that, and we can't really add this to the plans because this is not like a road or anything, but with all that wet area, it'd be great to encourage whoever becomes the residents of those parcels to avoid the use of de-icing and salt in that area, because all that water does eventually flow over towards Babusick Brook,
Okay.
which, I mean, it's in that water area, because behind that, when you get closer to the school, which is behind that, well, I'm not sure which way is, it's probably north then, right?
Yeah, it's up in that,
Yeah, so the school is in the northerly direction, and there's a lot of water in that area
Mhm.
with it. So, again, I don't
it
think,
just pops right out of that hillside behind the building. You can go down there when it's really dry,
yeah,
and there'll be 3 or 4 places where it just seeps out of there all year long.
Yeah.
So you get this green spotlight
yeah.
on the side of the hill from where it's coming out.
That's neat.
Well, I guess because it's not in somebody's basement up the hill. so,
Yeah.
All right, so we'd like to ask them to remove the shed,
Yeah, the shed, yeah.
Yeah.
and then careful what you store in the garage because of the vicinity to the wetland.
If it doesn't come down.
Yeah.
Have another winter like the one we just had?
It doesn't seem like it's over yet.
Yeah, I know.
It's over. Let's just all think positive.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
25 years ago, we got 6 or 7 inches of snow at
Yeah, I know.
the end of April.
I know. All right, so anything else we want to touch on besides the shed and the garage?
No.
Okay. All right, so I will draft a letter to the planning board. When do you go in front of the planning board?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, okay. All right, then I guess I'll have to do that tonight then, so.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I apologize.
You're not the first, so don't worry about it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next on the agenda is Anheuser-Busch. evening. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tom Zajac. I am a civil engineer with Hayner Swanson in Nashua. I am here tonight with Greg Kapp and Tom Jokers from Anheuser-Busch. And we're here tonight seeking your recommendation for site plan approval. Will be before the planning board at their April 21st meeting.
Oh, okay.
Got a little time to spare.
First, just want to go over the existing site, as I'm sure you're all familiar with it. As you can see up here on the plan, we're looking at the Anheuser-Busch site on 221 Daniel Webster Highway. The lot we're looking at is Lot 31, Map 3D. As you can see on the plan, Daniel Webster Highway runs north to south. You got the Boston and Maine Railroad just on the adjacent side of that lot, and the Merrimack River to the top of the plan. The parcel's owned I-1 Industrial. The lot that we're talking about, Lot 31, is 196 acres. On the north part of the site, in this region here, about 60 acres is the existing brewery. The current building area is about 632,000 square feet total. In the central part of the site, there's the athletic fields and the tours and the stable areas. The southern part of the site is undeveloped. There's an additional 100-acre lot that Anheuser-Busch owns just on the other side of the railroad, adjacent to the Merrimack River. And then Lot 31 is abutted by various industrial commercial properties, as well as some undeveloped parcels to the south.
Yeah, one of them are ours. So.
I hope you got the butter notification then. Tonight we're before you for our proposed project, which includes 3 building additions to the existing facility, totaling about 55,000 square feet. There's a 27,000 square foot packaging addition, a 5,000 square foot brewery addition. Those are both located in the southwest part of the brewery. In addition, there's about a 23,000 square foot warehousing addition in the northeastern part of the brewery. There's also some associated site improvements included with the project. They include new loading, parking, sidewalk areas. There's a little bit of utility relocation, as well as stormwater management. The total disturbance for the project is about 4.7 acres. Which is about 2% of the entire site. And I just wanted to point out that these disturbed areas do not have any new disturbance, so it is within the existing facility itself. We're not cutting down any trees. Just wanted to talk real quickly about 2 key issues since we are in the Aquifer Protection District. The first is about salt use. Right now, Anheuser-Busch contracts a local company to do all their plowing needs. I'm sure they were busy this winter, but they are Green Snow Pro certified through UNH. So, just wanted to point that out. Stormwater is the other issue. Just give you a brief review of what's currently going on site, and then we'll talk about what we're proposing. The Anheuser-Busch facility operates under an EPA multi-sector general permit for industrial activities, which includes consistently updating comprehensive stormwater pollution and prevention plan. Industrial wastewater flows to an on-site sewer treatment plant, which eventually then flows into the town sewer plant. The existing drainage on site drains to a headwall outlet located in the southeast corner of the brewery, where it then flows to the Merrimack River. There are measures in place associated with the EPA permit to prevent the discharge of leaks and spills on site, including a dry weather pump system that's located at the headwall outlet. So if there's a spill on site, they can shut that down and prevent any spills from reaching the river. In addition, there's an existing detention infiltration basin located in the northern portion of the site. This was constructed in 2004 as part of a trailer parking lot expansion project. Our project that we're here before you tonight adds about 1.5 acres of new impervious area. Our approach to stormwater management is to improve the quality and reduce the quantity of stormwater leaving the site from within this project's sub-drainage area. So the areas of the site that we're touching, we're looking to improve. This is accomplished through the use of deep sub catch basins, 2 oil water separators, and a subsurface infiltration system. This is a blow-up of the northeast corner where the warehouse addition is. I don't have an existing
What page is
conditions. This is 7 of 14.
Thank you.
Let you flip to the page. I just wanted to point out here what we've done is we've got the built-in addition that's bumped out. There was an existing parking lot that we've now kind of shifted over to the east to accommodate, to provide the same number of spaces that were there, as well as providing an additional driveway here on the southeast side. What we've done in this area is we've captured both new runoff from the roof as well as existing and proposed parking lot area, and captured that and brought it into a subsurface infiltration detention system located within the grass lawn. This system's been sized to completely store and infiltrate up to the 25-year storm event before it then kicks over and overflows into the existing drainage system on site. So because of this stormwater improvement, the net result is that there's a decrease in peak flows and volume leaving the site compared to the pre-development condition. This is a combined of the 2 areas.
It's a great thing.
Yep.
Yeah, we like that.
So that's really all. That's really all I had. Be happy to answer any questions you may have for myself or for Greg or Tom.
So just for curiosity, where is the other improvement you did in 2004, the other stormwater? Up in there, okay. Right.
This is where the trailer park was. So similar to our project, they came in and they addressed the stormwater, the new increase from the new parking lot.
Yeah.
It's a basin that is designed the same way for a certain storm event, and then it kicks into the existing system.
Good. I'd much rather we kept the water here as opposed to pushing it out to the river and giving it to our friends in Massachusetts.
So in the typical grounds control down there, which where everyone goes down to take pictures at, is there going to be a lot of plantings or anything like that, or is this going to be pretty much just grass? And
We've asked for a waiver on landscaping for these 2 areas, a formal landscaping plan. If you've been out there, there's a lot of landscaping there right at their front door, and these, especially the warehouse addition, is not going to be visible from the street. So if you look closely at the site plan, for the warehouse addition between the new parking lot, there's a little piece of sidewalk in there. We're gonna put that in as stone. That way they don't have to maintain that little 5-foot grass strip. But you have plenty of grass surrounding on the outside, and then in the other addition area, is where the existing courtyard is there, and that will all be a grass lawn once the construction is complete. I'm not sure if that answers your question or not.
one of our concerns is people over fertilizing. And you guys have a very active grounds control down there. That's why we all end up down there at prom time. So it looks very nice, but we'd like to just caution you on potentially testing the soil before fertilizing, and to see if it really needs anything before you start pouring a lot of fertilizer down there. Because we have a standard low phos, or the low phosphate,
So we recommend new projects to adopt a low phosphate, slow release nitrogen fertilizer, as opposed to some projects just do a standard 20-20-20 or whatever, you know, and people just go to whatever contractor they get it from and they just divvy it all out, when in fact if they had just taken their own soil and run it through the New Hampshire Cooperative Extension or one of the other testing services, they probably would have found that this soil was adequate to do what they needed to do. So, you know, it's great to get a fast green up, but if you can wait a couple of extra days or a week or so to get the same green, we like that too. Because especially when you're that close to the river, water, you know, things go places. So, you want me to add a note to that, to the comments?
yeah, I think it would be worthwhile.
That we recommend that, okay. We like the green, you know, Snow Pro. Yeah, it's actually great for the company as well, because with the existing state laws now, it can minimize your liabilities if something should happen there as well. So I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but there was a recent update. When I say recent, within the last 2 years, where they changed the state law around that. But if you utilize a Green Snow Pro certified and that person is following what they were trained to do, and if there was someone was to get injured out on one of your properties or whatever, your liabilities can be limited. And that's done mainly to encourage people to adopt these practices and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, I didn't really have a whole lot of it. When I saw that you were capturing the water,
Yeah.
I thought that was a great thing. Because I can recall when I was a bit younger going down the river, seeing the outflow of that pipe. So, and I said, wow, where's all that water coming from? So.
Can you drink it?
There is an off-site contribution too.
Yeah.
There, so yeah, there's a decent watershed getting to that outfall.
Yeah. So. Anyone else have anything else they want to add to this? No. Pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
right? Great, thank you. And
Thank you, guys.
I'll put a letter to that effect, what we
Thank you very
discussed, so, okay?
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Tom. Is your dad named Tom?
Yes.
Oil Catholic?
Yes.
Yeah. He was a year or two behind me.
Oh, he was?
Oil Catholic, yeah. My daughter went to BG. You went to BG, right?
Yeah, I graduated in 2006.
Yeah. So say hi to your dad.
I will.
Mike Bois there.
He's probably watching right now.
I know him.
That's all right. Yeah, it'll certainly be replayed over and over again, too.
Yeah.
You can catch it on streaming video. All right, so that takes care of that. So now we get to old business. And under old business, we have, the first item is the Ned pipeline.
Thank you.
So, I don't have a whole lot of things here on this, because we do have quite a busy night here. But since our last meeting, there was a meeting with Kinder Morgan in the town. I saw that Matt had the last couple of questions.
Yep.
So, and it was great
By
to
design.
We're gonna stay and listen if that's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Part of the pipeline will be.
Yeah,
Oh,
right
yeah.
through your,
Yeah.
Sure.
right through your parking lot.
Wait,
Yeah, through the retention pond.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember Anheuser-Busch with the chemical plant like 25, 30 years ago. It was I don't know if you guys remember that.
ACT.
Yeah. You guys actually put an end to that. Yeah.
Nice job.
stick right, yeah.
It's going right next door to you, to Anheuser-Busch.
Water's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got, actually, Anheuser-Busch was the deciding thing on that.
Oh, by the way, on your plans, I failed to bring this up, but on page 6, it references following MVD rules for redoing the water main. Where you're on Pennachuck, you may want to have that note fixed so it reflects Pennachuck rules. So, sorry, I should have brought that up earlier, but I missed that note. So, yeah, page 6 on the plans. So, MVD meaning the Merrimack Village District when it should say Pennachuck. Since I believe you're serviced completely by Pennachuck now, right? Yeah.
Yes, only by Pennachuck.
Yeah, so, sorry, I skipped right over that note, so. So, getting back to the pipeline, you know, at some point, I'd love to hear what you guys think of the pipeline, but
We have a great ally.
so we don't have a whole lot on it today, so one of the items that came up is scoping meetings, and we know that scoping meetings are probably getting planned. I noticed in watching the replay of the video, had the pleasure of being on an airplane coming across the country when you guys were all sitting through that long meeting.
Which would have been worse?
Well, I had a very large person sitting next to me, so I'm not sure if I had it better or not. One of the folks at the Kinder Morgan table spoke about they're already starting to plan 12 or 16 scoping meetings in the area. Was that the first you've heard of that number?
Well, it's FERC. FERC is doing the scoping
right,
meetings.
Right.
So,
They just put out a letter today that said how many meetings they're
Okay.
gonna be. Because I guess they had a couple teleconferences with a number of folks, and they were making delineations as to what is a scoping meeting, what is the town meeting, what is the
Right.
open meeting, and there's a note in there about how many meetings they're gonna have, like one per county or something like that. I forget what it said, but
well, the federal reg is 1 per county.
yeah.
But we've been told that they use a drive time metric to sort of delineate where they might have them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the drive time was like 75 minutes radius. Okay, but who knows what they're going to do with it? I mean, but that's just one thing that that's out there or was out there.
So if they do one per county, that could mean that we don't end up with one in our town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, where would we hold it if we had one? If it's the only one, and we're drawing from
The county.
from west to east to get here, it poses some interesting location issues for the number of people when you look at how many, the over 400 people that showed up just for that session, what a scoping meeting would be because of its importance, and the ability to try to frame what FERC is going to do. Okay, I mean, because that's basically what the object of the scoping meeting is for them to decide on their framework based on the input that they're getting from people.
Yeah, well, if we had a scoping meeting, I could keep their ear busy for an hour.
I mean,
So are there,
yeah.
are there 3 counties that it's going through in New Hampshire? So 3.
No, it's only 2, Cheshire and Hillsborough.
Yeah,
That's it.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that we're not going to get enough time to impress upon them the issues that they have to encounter in our town. So does it then behoove us to provide more input in a written form?
As much as we can. My advice is as much as we can. Okay? And to be able to reference that material if it's ready when they hold those scoping meetings.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? To say, hey, look at this report, look at this letter, look at this piece. We've provided you with this and this and this. And, what you're asking them to do is, here's the parameters we want you to use. Here's the information we want you to consider. It's like I said, I went through this with the rail study. Okay, and the scoping meetings were taking input from people about, have you looked at this issue? Have you looked at that issue? Are you looking at these numbers? Are you looking at those numbers? That kind of information, as I said, to sort of set the framework for their review. And when they go through, if there's legal action later, they're going to go through the scoping meetings to see what issues were raised at those scoping meetings, and then how the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission dealt with those issues that were raised in their consideration of the application. Okay? So if, for instance, it may not be germane, but years ago, the city of Concord was competing for, was a automatic grantee for community development block grant money. But they had to hold public hearings to determine how that money was going to be used. And so at the public meetings, people came forward, we want to use it for this, we want to use it for that, we want to do this with it, we want to do that with it. Okay? Well, the city threw that out and decided they were going to cover their reservoir to keep the birds out. Okay? Was never mentioned at the public hearings. And they were told no. You had at least 3 capital projects that they suggested. Okay? One of which ends up being their athletic fields, which they have up there on the other side of the hospital, but you know where the high school is. But they were told no, that wasn't even mentioned. Why now? So, and that's sort of what they look at when they, like I said, if it goes to a legal process, that's what the courts are going to, you know, that's what the courts are going to look at. Well, what did they say at these meetings? Well, they warned you about this species. They warned you about this habitat. They warned you about this issue. They warned you about this and this and this. And there's no recognition of it in here.
So given that, it's probably our best play to submit early and often, and then use the scoping meeting to reference those submittals and highlight ones that we feel are the most important, right?
Right. And as you know.
Or not responded, right? Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah. Those sorts of things are, you know, based on looking at it, it looks like that is probably the most effective way of doing it, because I think they're going to use, part of the reason they're going to use the scoping meetings, in my opinion, okay, is to validate what's been submitted to them. Are they on the right track?
Yeah, I also got the impression they'll use the scoping meetings to determine whether it's an EIC or an EA, right? It's either an assessment or it's a full study, right?
Right. Yeah, and the full study is much more complex than
That's the one we prefer.
than the EA. Okay, because that's what happened with I-93.
Yeah.
Okay. Conservation Law Foundation and everybody else raised all kinds of hell about that.
Through Franconia Notch.
No, the one over here,
Yeah.
the one over here between the Massachusetts border and Manchester, and you know they pointed, you know, they were very vocal in pointing out the impacts to the water in that area because of runoff.
All right, so was there a time frame to the scoping meetings mentioned in the letter?
I can't open up my phone, so.
Okay.
Oh, I have them
Anyone
printed
recall?
out.
You printed them all out.
Well, there's only 3. Unless you were talking about something else.
I have 40 emails today.
Oh, no, I just printed out the ones about with the phone calls.
call?
Yeah, just the phone calls. No, not all those. I didn't get through all those.
Yes.
But
I'm not sure your mic is on. Or is
looking at that, well, they still have some more open houses to do.
Yeah.
Tennis as well. They talk about that.
Yeah, those are going to run till the end of the month.
Actually, going to run into April, right? They finally decided they
They
were.
are in April.
Yep. I know.
Okay.
There was 3 messages that came through.
That's okay. They've been there, done that.
Yeah. Let's read it.
Yeah, March went way too fast.
Latest
Yeah.
one.
Where's the first one that came through?
The first one is here.
I think that's the one that's got the comments about the.
Dates and schedule.
The reason why I'm curious about the scoping meeting is, as you know, we're doing an environmental impact study that's going to take time to get done, and it will also, we won't have all the data we need until the summer time frame. So I'm curious when the scoping meetings are going to happen, because maybe it behooves us to travel to another county meeting in order, if ours is first. If ours is last, that might be better. You know, if they start from Pennsylvania and work their way towards us, we might be in a better position.
Just FERC will publish a notice of intent referring scoping meetings public. FERC anticipates scheduling numerous scoping meetings. That's really all they say, I guess.
All right. But we'll see, I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. I was just curious if they had already made plans yet, so. All right,
I mean, we've made it clear, the town and the Conservation Commission wants one.
And hopefully they really will have multiple, you know,
Yeah.
like you said, because it's such a huge area. Can't imagine.
so one of the other things I wanted to cover tonight is, we have our Merrimack Outdoors website that we've pretty much devoted to our properties. Do we want to advocate for our properties on that website when it comes to the pipeline, given that we've taken the stance that we have?
Why not?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
right? Because what I'd like to do then is I'd like to advocate that we encourage people, residents of the town, to request a scoping meeting in our town, beyond just the folks that I've seen already, and I haven't been checking every day, I'm not following it that closely, but I noticed that a lot of the people who have requested are the usual suspects, you might say. You know, so let's try and get some of the other folks that maybe not feel they're directly
The
impacted.
unusual suspects.
Yeah, the unusual suspects,
Yeah.
yes. Correct, so, so if you don't mind me being careful in the way we phrase some of that, I'd like to utilize our website a little bit more to promote our,
Well, I haven't looked at what the town put on our website,
Yeah.
but they have, I suggested strongly that they explain the process to people, because it's not easy. It's not just like going on and typing something up. You gotta go through
yeah.
a vetting, a quasi-vetting process, which is pretty simple, but it's just an additional time and step thing, and,
Yep, I learned it.
yeah.
That's right, because you did ours.
So, yeah, and I by no means want to repeat or replace the town website or any of the other sites. I just want to provide some, encourage people and say, here, you can find what you need if you go here. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, just a matter of providing links, because
Links,
there's so much information out there, I just
Yeah.
don't, it's,
yeah, I don't want to duplicate it.
Yeah.
Right.
No. So, all right.
I love it when you send me links.
Excuse me?
Say, I love it when you send me links. Makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, I know, right.
Okay. Okay, so did anyone have any impressions from the meeting, the townwide meeting? Anything you want to discuss here or bring up here?
I think in general, I think there was one pro comment,
Yeah.
There were two.
two,
Okay.
yeah, there was two. And there was a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see there was quite a lot of people there too, so, which was good.
Good
Yeah.
turnout.
I think there was a whole page they didn't even get to, right, of people that wanted to comment?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a little bit more than that, the page, yeah.
Mhm.
There was more than just the back side of the page.
Oh, okay.
Right,
So-
and the council took a stand, which was good to see.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So,
Matt did a good job.
all right, the roast meetings that have been going on, have you been attending them?
Mhm.
Anything special you want to report there? Are they looking for more participation from us in any way or anything like that?
They're hoping to get more participation from other towns.
Yeah.
To get everybody to come. The next one, which is gonna be the 17th, I believe, someone from the Amherst Conservation Commission is gonna come and talk about their environmental impact study that they put together so quickly.
Yeah.
And then there also might have, there was gonna be another speaker. So when we get that, I'll send out the agenda, so they know for sure, who's gonna be there, but hopefully that one's gonna be a big meeting,
Okay.
you know, so I can give you guys more details.
Yeah, I figured I'd make time in my schedule for that one. Just Fridays tend to be very hard for me. I've passed that along to Bob, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so,
But we did
All
some brainstorming of scoping comments in one of the last ones. So, you know, it's on the Google group,
okay.
but I can forward that on.
So there was a comment made, you know, is the town council engaging other towns and stuff like that? Well, the roast meeting is our opportunity for commissions to
Mhm.
informally get together. There's no formal votes taken.
No.
It's not a
Very
formal.
informal.
Eileen was going to a meeting of town administrators, managers, and administrative assistants. She stopped going. Okay, because they were not being, she didn't feel that they were being very effective, and we were so much further ahead of everybody else in terms of what we needed to be doing and how we needed to be doing it. They were still arguing over whether or not they were going to retain an attorney, and then they were going to try and divvy it up between however many towns, and not even a majority of the towns involved were showing up for these meetings. So, you know, that was another piece. You know, we met one time with a couple of representatives from the Amherst Council, but we haven't talked to them since. You know, there was not much going on with that in terms of that other thing. I mean, I'm you know, personally looking at things that are going on, this is sort of getting to the stage where all of a sudden it's unraveling, if you will. The solidarity seems to be unraveling, okay, which is normal for this kind of stuff anyway, but that's what it looks like is happening.
Yeah, and something more drastic will happen and people will pull back in again, I suspect. So
Whatever, you know.
maybe when the scoping meetings get going, we'll see more.
You know, one of the things I got out of one thing that I got today was that EPA apparently has encouraged Kinder Morgan to seriously consider going together with the Continental Pipeline rather than running one of their own. So
And that was in one of those comments.
yeah, so
And the answer is, oh, that's something we'll look into. It's like, you know, again, something that's not answered. So,
you have an EPA,
yeah, exactly.
That's a little more pull, right?
Yeah.
yeah, because they're going to meet the the Environmental Policy Act.
Yep.
And who's going to determine that?
Not FERC.
Okay, so, you know, it's more than just a passing suggestion, you know.
All right. One other item. So we're all kind of doing our thing. We're poking and we're looking. Do we want to have one person who can gather and disseminate information that they think is pertinent to the whole group? And what I mean by that is, you know, like if the EPA weighed in on a letter, maybe that's something the whole group should see. You know, if an individual from a town in Western Massachusetts made a single comment, might not be as pertinent. It could be, depending on the content, but is there one person who wants to play that role for the commission so that we don't all have to be scrolling through and looking?
You mean like from the FERC?
Just keeping your eyes out. You know, what's going on in the newspapers, what's going on, you know, in other towns that you might hear about, you know, outflows from meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that something you don't mind pushing? Okay.
Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I if I get the articles, I don't have
Yeah.
subscriptions to a lot of them, so
Right, yeah.
usually if it's sent to me, then I can forward it on.
You're subscribing to the FERC.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, the newspapers, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
Right.
the ones you have to pay for.
Right. Okay.
Well, is it worth the $10 a month for the papers to have that access that you would take out of your commission funds to?
I think it's worth it. I think we could justify that.
You know, between the Telegraph and the Onion Leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty short money.
Yeah.
I mean, even for a year, it'd be $250 for a year for both of them.
Right.
You know,
So is that the consensus of the commission, to allow one of us to expend and bill for that? Cindy, you want to do that?
Yeah, I can do.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it something no, so I guess that would not really be worthwhile. So then could we order it as the Conservation Commission so it shows up in the box, or is that it's just going to be easier for it to
Oh,
show up in your?
good idea.
You can do online subscriptions too.
yeah, that's what I was talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, that's
No.
The online subscription.
Yeah, but the online subscription gives usage to a single person, or can we do it for an entity? And then we could share?
I don't know.
Can you,
Yeah, I'll look into that, yeah.
It's usually a single,
yeah, what can,
single person,
can you look into
single
it?
subscriber.
Yeah, all right.
Wait a minute,
I should
the
give
town's already a subscriber.
Should be, right?
I would
Yeah.
think we'd already get the paper somewhere at town
Comes
hall.
in here, both of them.
Oh, So maybe online access comes with it
Check with the office, because I know
downstairs?
Becky has often gone on, we'd be talking about something, she goes, wait a minute,
Oh, okay. She can get it.
What does she do?
Yeah.
I can't do clicks, I mean, you know, it's just,
All right. Do you want to check with Becky Thompson? Okay. Okay, great. Good. All right, and then at our next meeting, if we need to do something, see if we can do it as our own entity, if it's not possible to share that one, whatever, so.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Again, not to spend all night on this, but I do want to state for the public that during the break between this meeting and our previous meeting, the commission did take action and chose to approve the cost of $798 to purchase radio transmitters.
Telemetry, yep.
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 So that way we can understand some of the movements of some of the species that are out on Horse Hill Nature Preserve and understand where they're going. So everyone here unanimously approved that, correct? And we all still
Yes.
agree with that decision? So I believe they're hopefully on order at this point, but we wanted to expedite that so we could take advantage of the spring mating season and all that goes with that, so we understand their movements, so, but again, for the public's sake, I wanted to make sure that they all understood that we did take action between meetings, so that's going forward, those telemetry devices. And besides that, I have nothing else on this agenda item. Does anyone have anything else they want to discuss tonight? So going forward, what I'd probably do at our next meeting is to be thinking about what are the other areas that we want to comment on and start having people figure out what those comments should be and start crafting them. So that way we can provide FERC with even more information as we have it, so.
I have a question and a comment.
So
Jody Valancourt, 35 Greenleaf Street. When we're talking about the scoping meetings, I just want to make sure, because we're passing on information, and I think this question is for Tom, the town council is still asking people in town to request that FERC hold a scoping meeting in town, correct?
absolutely.
Okay, because I heard you mention that you're not sure where we would hold it, but we'd figured that out, correct, if we were awarded a
If we
scoping
had,
meeting here?
yeah, we would figure it
Okay,
out.
so we haven't changed our position on that?
Put a 10 on the football field, what's the,
Okay.
you know, it's a big
So
deal.
so we still want people to write into FERC requesting a scoping meeting be
Yeah.
held in Merrimack? Okay. As the timeline, I attended the meeting and I tried to push them on the timeline issue, and it's as vague as every other timeline bit of information that we try to get out of Kinder Morgan. I was no more successful the other night than I have been all along. The couple of things that they did reiterate was September 2015, again, is when they're hoping to file their application. Anytime between now and then, they kept mentioning some things were going to happen in June, but I was trying to ask them where we could find, again, something in writing with a timeline that would indicate the process and how it was going to work, and they couldn't answer my question. But the scoping meetings, they didn't mention a time. The other thing that they did say to me, which I think everyone needs to know, including this body, is that between now and September of 2015, the route could change. And there may not be any formal notification of that on any notification to FERC, anything on their website, and they they said that what they would do is that they would send out notices to abutters and property owners like they have in the past, and I pointed out to them that there were several interested parties that did not get notifications of this current route. So that was pretty much what they told me about a change in route. So that definitely could happen. So thank you very much.
I think the June piece was they were gonna have additional filings of some of those reports that we saw last month. I
Right.
think that was gonna be what they were planning on updating or further amplifying some of the information in those things. There's a lot of holes in it. And they've been told in no uncertain terms, they gotta come up with alternatives. So at some point, they're gonna have to tell FERC what their alternatives are.
Right, but they're still being vague about what it is and when.
Yeah,
We're not getting
exactly.
anything in black and white from them at all, nothing. So, thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.
all right. Anyone else, anything else?
Well, the other thing, to keep in mind, is the scoping process is a FERC process, it's not a Kinder Morgan process.
Yeah, that's the one
So-
I want,
Yeah,
because they're the ones who say yes or no, so.
right, and they'll, and at some point, they're required to, issue a schedule of some sort for all those opportunities. Okay, I forget what they call it, but there's some step in there that they have to do, to, notify the public when these opportunities for comment will be.
Okay. Gentleman in the back, any questions about the pipeline you want to ask us?
Or any thoughts to share?
Right.
Yeah.
Because-
At this point, they've just asked for permission to access our property.
Yeah.
To a survey.
Have you seen what the town has been doing? Have you watched the town website?
Well, we were invited to a town meeting
Okay,
and got some information there.
you did, okay, great, all right, cool, good. We just want to make sure you were in contact, so, and if we
Oh,
can,
yeah.
and if we can help, let us know, okay? All right, okay, great, thank you. All right, all set with this item?
I believe we are.
Okay, all right, so next is new business. Number one is funding maps for our property.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Just
so.
just a moment.
Yep. All right, Gage will catch up. So, in the past for our properties, all the maps have been printed downstairs, or they were printed somewhere here in Town Hall. I'm figuring we're getting at the point where volume is getting to be so much.
Yeah. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. So in a year's time at Horse Hill, it's over 1,000 maps. And, you know, we could have, you know, 1,000 for Greater Woods at some point. Wildcat Falls could be using a bunch. Yeah. So when I look at the wear and tear on the equipment and all that, that money is spent. So do we want to spend the money in the wear and tear on our own equipment, or do we want to utilize an outside printer that's more set up to do this kind of stuff? My thought is that we probably should entertain the idea. We're paying anyway, so we've been billed for the maps anyways. They've been coming out of our budget, so or our funds. So do we want to now utilize someone on the outside?
And it seems like we're getting to that point. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, particularly where we're going to be potentially starting to produce more.
Yeah.
It might be easier to have a, well, I guess, you know, I guess town hall, whatever you call it, say I need map 6, you know, I need 200 copies, but we have some good printers in town that we've used for all sorts of stuff, so.
Yeah.
I've been
and I-
suggesting to the office that they not rely on the office staff
Right.
to focus on other duties that they've got.
Well, that's the thing, this is,
Farm this out to somebody.
yeah, 600 copies or something, I mean, that's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of, oh yeah, you know,
Yep.
so
Oh, yeah.
it's above and maybe perhaps above and beyond what we're asking them to do.
Yeah, so I think it's appropriate that
Yep.
we farm it out and we let the town utilize whoever they have a contract with to do it. So I forward you an email from Susan, Sue, who gave you an idea of what the cost would be and stuff like that. What I'd like to do is kind of, probably because we get economy of scale, is to try and do a year's worth at a time. Now, with the Horse Hill map, it's fairly constant at this point. Do we think the Greater Wood map is the way it's gonna be for at least the time being?
Are you talking the trifold or just the existing map that's in the plan?
Whatever we wanna pass out, so. we've
Okay,
got-
well, because the trifold, we're gonna have, what's the 21st is I think is our meeting. And I think we're trying to have it done by, this subcommittee meeting. is the, 21st, is the Greater Woods Subcom. I think that was what they were trying to have kind of a final draft available for us to approve on that night.
Okay.
So I would imagine, short of new trails, that's, we're not doing a ton of construction in there, but those trails are pretty well marked, so.
So the Horse Hill folks would like more maps. In fact, they've already made a request, and we received a request when Andrew was here for the Wildcat Falls one. So I was thinking that we might move forward, probably spend a little bit more money on the Wildcat Falls one and get lower quantity for now,
Yeah.
just to see how that map works out, because we haven't really tried that map yet, you
Mhm.
might say, in the field. And then go forward with a year's worth of Horse Hill map at this point, so. Because I'm not aware of any new trail work that they're planning.
Do we need to contact the school regarding the Greater Woods map? I mean, is this something that is it gonna be that much of an issue, or do we need to just?
You can't just put them in there.
Well, when you contact, you look for an approval process?
Well,
with
that's
the
the thing, I mean,
school, or
so,
is it a heads up with the school?
We're gonna do a map of Greater Woods. And there's obviously a large section of that map that is, well, not a large section, but a heavily trailed section of that map is the school property.
Yeah.
And, if we're gonna be doing a map that
That'll be
incorporates the
included.
school's property, we just need just a notification to Matt saying, we're having these printed.
Well, have you discussed this with with one of your members who happens to be part of the district as well?
No.
Okay. All
We're
right.
hoping that everyone's gonna be in attendance on the 21st.
All right, so my advice would be then, if you don't get that input because people aren't available, is to get a hold of Matt Chevenel, and ask
Okay.
him if he has let's say this is our intent, maybe provide him a copy, and then see if he wants to interject, if he thinks the district wants to intervene.
Yes, I remember a while ago, because they wanted to have their own map. They wanted to have just the map of the school property.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we want to try to, I just think it's going to be confusing going up to that kiosk and
Yeah.
grabbing two maps.
Yeah.
Agree, I mean, I run into people out there that
Yeah.
complain about maps on Greater Woods, like, already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be confusing,
To have two.
and just
'Cause it would
just
only
have a limited area, and then you get off that area, like, where am I on this map?
Right.
Yeah.
Because all the kiosks, only one would have two maps. All the rest would be just the whole Greater Woods
Yeah,
map.
I don't like that.
So, okay.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, based on our discussions for the MOU, I would strongly suggest that you put whatever prohibitions there are regarding the school district
Right. Oh,
property
yeah.
on that map. I think that's what they're, I think, I don't know, they may have changed, but my thinking is that they're gonna be more concerned about,
Yes.
the prohibition issues there. And then maybe that's not quite the best word to use in this case, okay, but the conditions or the restrictions or whatever you want to call them, their concerns over those things, should be on there, and maybe a flat out, plain out statement about the issue of the school district property, and the rules are different.
A good point.
I mean, that was the original intent anyways, is to, highlight that section of the map saying this is school property, so people understand where they're on it or they're not. So,
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would just.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, you probably should follow through Matt, since he's our official channel.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I would do that. Yeah, that way we know it gets to where it needs to be. So.
Okay.
All right, so I will move forward with Wildcat Falls and Horse Hill for now, and we'll wait on Greater Woods, so. Okay. All right, so next under new business is funding a vernal pool party, and that's your item.
So we have, well, it's it's already kind of in motion. So we hopefully we're going to fund it. Jeff Littleton, the wildlife ecologist that's going to be performing the environmental survey for us, is going to, or set to, provide another vernal pool walk, starting at the middle school area, and planning this, we got involved with the New Hampshire Commission for Conservation Commissioners, and they've also wanted to be part of this and advertise it on their own. So Emily Lord made up a nice flyer, and it's available. I believe I sent that out. Did I send you guys the flyer too? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Send a link, yeah.
yeah, I sent the link in the flyer. So it's all set to go. We're looking to fund the walk and potentially a second one later in that week if the level of participation is high, because the email that she's sending out went out to all the conservation commissioners. We had more than 30 people at the last one they advertised for the beavers, so we're expecting that perhaps we will end up with more than 30 people again. And Jeff doesn't want to take a much larger group than 30 people out on a walk. The 25th is the first day of the school vacation. It's a weekend, so we're thinking that perhaps sometime that next week, the 27th through the 29th, Jeff is available, that he could lead a second walk if we have participation that's high enough. So the two values that we're shooting for on the first walk, which is the one that's already we would like to fund a not to exceed $300 to pay for Jeff's time and then whatever snacks and things, printings and things we need to do. And then for the second walk, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say not to exceed $200 because it's a little bit cheaper. Jeff's going to also be here on those days to work on the wildlife assessment. So both of these walks, he's not going to charge us for travel time. That's going to be billed separately in a different project. So there's two items that the first again is April 25th, and it's going to be not to exceed 300. And then the second one would be not to exceed 200, and that would be sometime the 27th through the 29th. So I don't know if they should be separate, but the second one may not happen at all. It's just depending on the quantity of people we get for the first one.
So what about the Merrimack residents?
So yes, NHACC is going to charge $10 per person for the walk. That's for their own funding. That's not coming back to us. Part of the stipulation of this, I worked with Emily, is that the Merrimack residents will be paid for by us, so they get it for free. And then the teachers are also going to be, any teachers are going to have a chance to get it for free also. So that money, the $300, we're expecting to cover any of the extra folks. I'm sorry, I said 400 in that one, didn't in the email, I think, didn't I? The email I sent out?
We said 400 and
$400,
300, but
Yeah, and 300 for the second.
Okay, well, yeah, Jeff got back to me with a better price for the second one. So I'm sorry, the not to exceed 400, we're going to have not to exceed 300 for any of the walk, and then the extra $100 is going to be for however many participants that we end up paying for.
oh, okay.
That teachers or students or whatever.
Yeah. The thinking was Merrimack residents have already contributed to our funding. Why should we charge them?
Yeah.
You know, it's their money that we're spending at this point. So
Yeah.
I didn't think anyone would have a conflict with that, but we ought to bring that up here and all nod our heads that we agree. So
Okay, because the money that she's charging is going back to the New Hampshire Conservation Commissioners. It's not coming back to us.
right.
They're working on trying to generate a larger
And that
group
would
of
be-
group of training classes.
And that would be from people out of town, out of Merrimack.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I did. The link that I sent you, I went and registered a couple different ways, and it works. So when you put it in correctly, it charges everyone correctly. So
Do you move that?
I'd like to make a motion for the April 25th, not to exceed $400, and then another, or I guess in that same motion, which should be one motion or two, or we do the same motion and not to exceed $300, or I'm sorry, $200 for the second class, if it is warranted.
From Fund 53.
From Fund 53.
Second.
Okay, moved by Gage, seconded by Cindy. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes 5-0-0. Okay.
Oh, I definitely want to attend the Saturday one.
Well, the second one is not in concrete. We're just going to have to pick a day and say this is the day we're going to do it. So
But it'd be during the week though, right?
it would be Monday through Wednesday,
Yeah.
one of the 20. Yeah.
I'm bummed I'll be gone, but I'm not. I'll be on vacation.
Okay.
All right, are you, looking at if there's 50 people who sign up, you take the first 30 and tell the next 20 that there might be a second meeting, or any
Well,
thoughts on how that's handled?
the registration, Emily's gonna cut the registration off, so people can't register, so they do have to register for this.
Yeah.
And so what's gonna happen is if we have interest beyond that, we can set up doing our own registration in-house and just have Jeff
I see,
show up and do it again,
okay,
so.
all right. Okay,
Great.
anything else on this item? All right, so the next item?
Next item, the ARM funds and mitigation projects. I don't know if it really needs to be much of a conversation point, but we obviously we're working with GZA on the beaver management plan. They are also now looking to do some other work here in town. We've given them quite a few items to look at right now as far as projects, so they're looking at us as a good resource. We've got a good reputation with DES. Certainly the Babusak Lake folks they're a very active community over there. They've done a lot of great projects with the DES. So as a community, we've got some good props, which is nice. So I'm just reaching out if you guys have projects and things that you're thinking of that shoreland ARM type funds or projects to let me know, and we're going to start compiling a list of things that we would like to get done in town.
After the public meeting, in response to Matt's question about the ARM stuff, they were totally confused.
Mm-hmm.
I went up afterwards and explained to them what we were talking about. And they said, whatever you want us to do.
Okay.
So that's essentially what the gentleman said, the property guy. The right-of-way guy said, well, if you would prefer to have it here, we'll do that. We'll do it that way, rather than contribute to the state,
Right.
to DES. So like I said, I explained
Right,
what
because
we were talking about.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah,
A dollar's
they're writing
a
a
dollar.
check, so
Yeah.
who do you want, me or you?
Exactly.
It's
So, anyway, that was one other thing that came out of the other night that I probably should have brought up earlier, but,
Okay.
and what does ARM stand for? Because a lot of people out there are going,
Aquatic Resource Mitigation
Mitigation.
Fund Program.
So my thought is that we need to be proactive and be thinking about the projects that we would like, and we need to think about a range of projects, different costs and fees, so therefore we could find the one that say, if the pipeline is approved and is going to be forced down upon us, that if it goes through this area, that's a $50,000 mitigation, well, we have a project that fits that bill, we have a $10,000 project that fits that bill, that kind of deal. And maybe we should just make this a dedicated item that we task a couple of people to be thinking about. One, to understand what are the rules for the ARM fund, and then two, what are the potential projects, and start the process of thinking them through and what's required and that sort of deal. Is there someone who wants to research ARM and understand it? Is that
I'm already
put that together?
Yeah, I'm already kind of doing it, so
Yeah.
I guess that's me.
Well, I don't know. Does Mike have
Matt's
some
not
time
here.
to help?
Why don't you?
Yeah, I can help.
No, Matt is doing a lot with the trails too. So we're
Mr. Karen will
Yeah.
take it.
I can help you.
yeah, certainly I can. I've already, as I said, I've already started compiling a list. It's I can send you a link to it because it's up in Dropbox anyway.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I think we ought to be as bold as there's a property we might want to acquire.
So I have spoken to GZA about that, and it's, it has to have some type of quantity, some type of shoreline or wetlands type of restoration quantity in it, so or quality to it. So some of the properties that we're looking at, like stormwater recharge areas and things like that, she's like, no, that may not really be. There's a stormwater fund, so maybe you can apply for grant money for that, but it's not really ARM type of property. So we'd have to make sure that we have a property that fits that bill.
Right. I mean, so we purchased a piece of Greater Woods with money that would have gone into the ARM fund.
Right.
but it was used for the mitigation. So it was a piece of upland
Mm-hmm.
off of a wetland. And so we could be using some of that money to preserve an upland that's adjacent to a wetland, whether it's a wetland we own or that's owned or restricted in some other manner is, I don't think.
Are you talking the section over by Red Maple?
Yeah.
So, but that was money that the contractor didn't pay to the ARM fund. They paid that directly to the property in our half,
Right,
our
right,
behalf.
right.
So
yeah.
we'd have to find
Exactly.
parties who were in that position.
Right.
So that
Okay.
was, that wasn't really ARM funding money that we bought that property with.
Correct. It wasn't
Yeah,
ARM funding
okay.
money, right. It was money that would have gone to ARM
Right.
if we hadn't have had
I
that.
see.
If we wouldn't have had that part.
Have that.
If you didn't have that project in your pocket,
Exactly.
it would
Right.
have gone someplace
Right.
else.
Andy already had it in his pocket, and it was really convenient that we didn't have to use our own money to do it, so. I think he did a good job, but he was ready for it.
Right.
I think we need to be ready again, so we need to be thinking about what is run the full gamut from just, $10,000 up to $100,000 or $200,000, so. And we probably should be looking at some of the properties we've been thinking about and seeing if any of them apply. And we can discuss that later.
Okay.
Okay?
I said, I'm compiling a list
Yeah.
I've reached out to Adam and to Kyle and said, what kind of things you guys bumping up against that perhaps we can, kind of on a quantity scale and work together on, so.
Yeah.
They both had some items that we're just gonna start compiling a list and go from there.
Yeah, because, if we need to spend a little bit of engineering dollars to make that project, ready to go type project, we probably should be thinking about doing that.
Okay.
Because even if it doesn't work out in this opportunity, there may be grant monies other ways that we
Right.
can leverage some of our own money to make something happen that we think needs to happen anyways, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that the guys that got all that ARA money had the plans on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those plans were 25 and 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, why not? So let's.
I mean,
let's-
not just here or in New Hampshire
Yeah,
or wherever. but
everywhere.
Yeah.
Nationwide, these guys were projecting ahead, as,
Yeah.
And so these things were available.
Mhm. Yeah, we've got, I'm not sure if invasives work, but we've got some huge invasives
Yes.
problems.
Yeah.
Right next to wetlands. It'd be nice to find a way to deal with some of that before it becomes even a bigger problem.
It is a bigger problem
Oh,
already.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, that's a
Yeah.
big thing right there.
I don't know how, it's another item, but we can
Yeah.
go into that in a second, so.
Okay. All right, well, I'll certainly give it some thought and pass along some ideas, so. Anything else on this agenda item?
Not have anything on that.
Okay.
Other than the fact that I would love your comments or projects or thoughts, even if it's small little areas or whatever, just let me know what they are,
Can things like, construction of a trail around a wet area and stuff like that, does that qualify?
restoring riparian and wet areas are what that is made for, so, if it's something that is caused a problem and restoring it requires money, then supposedly that's a project that fits the bill.
Yeah, so think of the Red Maple Trail project we did. That project was done for mitigations, and if we hadn't done that project, that would have been another check to the ARM
There's
fund.
all kinds of water going under that road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And plus there was, the degradation of the trail was washing silt and sand into the wetlands.
into the
And-
swamp.
Yeah, so that was something that had to be, corrected.
So by doing that project, we stopped the destruction of the swamp.
Could we have been sanctioned for that?
Yeah, we could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
we-
we
it-
allowed it to continue,
It
yeah.
was reviewed, but we had a plan to mitigate the issue
Right.
and to address, and it was laid out, Dan Sear laid it out a number of years ago. And that was, when they came down to inspect it and we had the plan in hand, they were like, okay, good, forget it.
Yeah, we could have been in trouble for that.
Yeah, you could get the same kind of thing on South Greater Road. I mean, there's, kind of the roads on the water, trails.
Well, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
dealing with the beaver pond that's
Right.
overtaken
But that's,
us.
yeah, yes, that is an issue, but I don't, we're not trying to restore wetlands, that's, that's
Right.
new wetlands that are being made, so, that's a little. But it may, I don't know, that's something we can go walk down and see, do you think this is gonna fit the bill?
Yeah.
It's easy enough to look at it, so.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, so other business. The only dot I have here, or item, is the beaver management. I do have a few other items that have popped up since, so you asked us to do a review.
Yeah, so the copy I sent out is absent of the tables and figures, some of the tables and figures. I have since received another copy that's got that in there. If you really want that, that's fine. Right now, we're trying to get the verbiage correct and make sure it is understandable and is covering the items that we want. So whatever comments and questions or clarifications you have, please get them to me. I'm going to try to collate that onto one document and get it back to Tracy. I'd like to do it by end of next week. So
End of next week? So when do you want them from us? What's the deadline for us? Because you need time to collate them.
right. So I'm trying. I'd like to get them by the end of this week, so I can get them to Tracy next week, and she can have time to get them ready and get them back to us before our next meeting.
Okay.
So you mean like by Sunday night?
It's quite a,
11, yeah,
quite a
by 11
report.
o'clock.
I work to deadlines, honestly,
Yeah.
I do. Give me a deadline, I work to it, so.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
what is it?
I thought it was well done. I mean, I'm talking in general.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to it, so it's not, you read it like, okay, that makes sense. So I'm trying to be vague, pretend you don't know anything about it and read it, and does it still make sense to you? But kind of following up is if you read through here, and particularly when they're talking about the areas, and they're talking about the different vegetation, almost every one of these has invasives.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Almost every single one of these areas, and they're all along the water. So those invasives now are everywhere, not just the places we looked.
Right.
So it's something that I think are going to have to address here sooner than later. Is that we do have an invasive problems in town, a big invasive problem in town. So
All right, so anything else on the plan?
no,
All right, so everyone, Earth Day is coming up later this month. In case you haven't been watching, Audubon, at the Audubon Center in Auburn, they're doing another big thing like they did last year. That's this coming Saturday on the 11th. Just look up Earth Day in Audubon, and I think you should be able to find the info you want. So it's a big open house at their center. Another thing that's come up, we did get a wetland dredge and fill permit that technically I should have put on this agenda, but it came in after I put the agenda together. There is a bridge replacement being done off of Beals Road, heading out. That's over by Parkhurst Road and Woodward Road here in Merrimack. It's the opposite side of the transfer station. If most people come in from Lawrence Road, if you come in from the other way, you'd pass over this bridge as you head through a small piece of Bedford before you hit the dirt road and get back into Merrimack. So that bridge is being replaced. There is it's the Beals
Small
Road
bridge.
Bridge.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just past Woodward and Parkhurst where they come together. If you continue
That's the one
going,
they had to backfill against.
I'm not sure.
Just a short time ago, right? They had the whole erosion down the side.
It may have.
Familiar, it was closed or.
It was closed for a little, yeah.
So the bridge is it's a Bedford project. They were looking to replace the bridge, but part of the impact area is in Merrimack, so therefore the dredge and fill had to be filed in Merrimack as well. Do you all want to take a look at that permit and review it and provide comments to DS? If you do, I will agenda it for the next meeting. And I will in turn ask DES to hold off making any decision until we have a chance to put our comments in. We're still in the window where I can do that, so. Is that something you want to see?
I'd like to review it, but I don't want to hold it up. If it's, I mean, that whole bridge is, what part is it?
No, I think this bridge is passable. It's being used every day.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Bedford Conservation Commission looking at it?
I would imagine they have to.
Yeah, I think they have to, but I'm saying, what part of that bridge is, that whole section is Bedford?
90% of the bridge is in Bedford.
Right. 90 the bridge and the
Abutments, yeah.
abutments and all that are all in Bedford. There's just a small sliver of the new impact, because they're going to expand it a little bit. They're going to, they're going to beef it up. It'll be more modern. So, but that's going to create an impact, and it'll be a piece of it. It hits Merrimack.
It'll be similar to the one that was built, at, on the road to the transfer station, coming down Bedford Road, over Babusick Brook.
You mean the Wire Road Bridge?
No. When you come off Joppa and make a left-hand turn,
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the Bedford Road Bridge.
the design
Yeah.
or the concept is the same as that bridge.
Right, because there'd be prefab pieces going in there.
So
Yeah.
that's what they're talking
Are
about.
they replacing that culvert and everything in there too?
Haven't got a chance to go through the whole thing.
I'd like to see the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like
Alright.
to see it.
Right.
I mean, if,
I don't think they're planning on actually performing the work until the fall at this
Okay.
point.
yeah, during dry
So
weather.
I don't think if we ask for a few extra days that it's gonna
Yeah.
impact the overall project, so.
And they did ask for the town's participation, and we respectfully declined.
Oh,
Since they came to us after, one of the reasons I was told was because they came to us after they had designed the whole project. No consultation, nothing. Oh, by the way,
so do we not want to be involved? Is this going to cause problems?
I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it is an issue, it's not your issue,
Right,
it's the council's issue.
all right. So we meet again in 2 weeks, so it only puts an extra 3 or 4 days in the
Okay.
process. So,
Yeah, the dredge and fill issue is a dredge and fill issue. You
okay,
know, it's,
all right. I will do that. I'll let DES know that we'd like to take a look at it, and we'd like to extend the 14 normal day out a few extra days. So,
just my concern is that's one of the areas that we were having, just on our side of it, we're having quite a lot of beaver activity.
yeah.
So it's an area that we were scoping out this fall,
Yeah.
last fall.
Okay. All right.
That's Babusick Brook that goes,
Yes.
it's been a running battle with that bridge for the last 30 years.
It looks it too. It's beat up. Yeah, it's beat up. But you go underneath, it's
Yeah.
it's beat up.
All right, so besides that, there was a update done recently where you and Matt closed some trails on Greater Woods for the mud season, essentially, right?
Yes, Matt, we hung a couple signs and put up some mud season signs. We did try to close with fallen timber, tried to close some areas that are being used inappropriately. So, and we've recognized a couple areas that there's seemingly extra activity that we really are not trying to encourage. So, yes, but that's all. They've all been up. They're installed on our property, just orange signs saying trail closed, mud season. It's
Okay, and you're monitoring so we can remove them when they need to come
Right.
down, right? So a couple were put up in Horse Hill as well. I believe they're still there.
okay.
Okay, I don't believe they're being followed. Okay, completely.
No, no, they're not.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, I stopped and looked at one of them today, and there's fresh footprints right past
Yeah.
it. So
so, all right. I did get some
What you do
feedback.
is to put sort of a hat and a hand in there, in the middle of a mud puddle.
Yeah, that's right.
Do not
Arms
use this
sticking
trail,
out.
this could happen to you.
Yeah. Put a little rope off the hand going to a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
skull.
No, what you really should do, you really want to get people to stop, just put a dog leash that goes into a piece of mud and a collar in there. That'll stop people from going in.
The tail sticking out.
That's
back.
caution: this trail covered with dog poop. There's plenty of it out there.
There
boy.
is plenty of dog poop.
Disgusting.
So I did have a discussion with the chair of the Horse Hill Subcommittee about the signs and things like that. The request of the subcommittee is they'd like to play a more active role the next time we consider putting up those signs. They'd like to be more involved. So whether that's, letting them know ahead of time that you're gonna be doing it, or that it's potential, or that if you wanna ask them to do the review and put them out, okay? So, because I know their meeting schedule is quarterly, which may not coordinate very well with the timing of things, but they'd like to play a more active role,
Okay.
so. I think that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, then last thing is on our next agenda, the Chestnut Hill Old Blood Properties project will be back on our agenda. This time it's for the overall project. I know that we've seen it to discuss an easement, and we've seen it to get general, just comments on the project, and this is the official review before it goes through final site approval with the planning board. At that time, it would be better if someone else chaired that portion of the meeting, and I'm not sure Matt will be available, so I might need someone else to run that portion of the meeting.
Okay.
Is that something that one of you would entertain doing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, all right, I can provide some advice, but I think you've been to enough of our meetings to know, but it's up to you if you want that.
I'll take advice.
Okay.
He did tell me that he was pretty sure he was gonna be back for it,
Yeah,
the
I think-
second meeting.
Yeah, he said there's a potential that he might not be available, so
Oh.
I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that we're
just
covered, that
covered,
we've
right.
got someone all ready to go.
Yeah, we don't have to turn him away.
The other part of that is since, in case he's not here and I will have to recuse, that it's very important that the four of you are here at the next meeting, or else we won't have a quorum for that agenda
I'm just
item.
gonna make it by hours. I'll be here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm leaving like the next morning.
Because if we really think that it's not going to happen, I can give them a heads up and say, if you really want to make sure there's enough people for your agenda item. Because recusing means that I don't count towards the quorum then.
Yeah, so it's,
No, I mean, I could abstain, but I've been recusing all along, and I think it's appropriate that I complete that.
it's gonna be tight.
Okay. Do you want me to let them know that there may be a quorum issue and that we should push it out?
Check in with it.
Yeah.
Depends on what happens on Tuesday.
That's true.
Oh.
Yes, okay,
That's right.
all right. I will,
Yeah, I mean, you only have,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The,
Might be a
our next meeting is the 4th, right?
No, that's the
And if
That's
his
the
flight
20th.
is late or something, or?
20th of April.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, all right, I'll make them aware and give them the option. All right, that's all I have under other business, I believe, yes, so that takes us to minutes. I got through 3/4 of the minutes.
I got through the first page.
I got to page 3, and that was it.
Move to table,
Second.
okay.
Give it to Cindy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so we'll table the minutes to our next meeting. All right, so next item on our agenda is public comment. I see the public has moved on. Commissioner comments. Tom?
We're very pleased with how that public meeting went with Kinder Morgan. It was very well attended. It was very well run by the moderator.
Absolutely, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did a great
It's
job.
just good.
Always does.
And it just relieved a lot. Sitting there, even looking at the Kinder Morgan guys, okay? Except for one of them,
Yeah, the little hot shot there.
the guy, the second in from the right, from the left rather, next to the guy that was mostly with the microphone. I think they were relatively relaxed, if you know what I mean. I mean, they were attentive to what was going on, okay? But it wasn't, and it was adversarial, but not as adversarial as it could have been. So,
Yeah.
And I think, it speaks well for the people of the town, and it speaks well for the way that the moderator handled the whole thing. And I think it just made things, it could have been ugly like it has been in other places because there was no control, which is the reason why I suggested that we get her to do that. Because it takes the council out of the issue of decision making about who gets recognized and who doesn't, and getting accused of all kinds of other stuff. It was just better to have a neutral, if you will, to try and handle that kind of stuff. So we were very pleased with that outcome. And as I said, when Matt asked us questions, they indicated their willingness to work with the Conservation Commission to take care of whatever concerns that you might have about those issues that were raised. So.
Mike?
No comment.
Cindy?
So last Thursday, I attended I believe it was a UNH cooperative meeting about the New England cottontail, which could possibly be on the endangered species list. I didn't get a chance to talk to Haley afterwards because everybody was wanted to talk to her. But it was very interesting, and for our area, they haven't really done a lot of looking or testing because it is a DNA test, like you said, of the pellets. So they actually send volunteers out that have to be trained. So you can't just pick them, find them and bring them in, and they test the pellets to see. But they are actually also want to track the eastern cottontail. So, I was going to look into to see what you have to do to be a volunteer. Maybe, unfortunately, they usually do it during the winter, so you can find the pellets. So I think it's kind of done for this year because I was going to ask her if Jeff could pick them up, but I don't know that you'd be able to find any with the snow pretty much gone.
Are you familiar with the Cottontail Reserve we have up off of Beck River Road?
No.
Yeah, that was last year.
There's a large, well, not large, but there's a section of property that is reserved. I think the sign says Cottontail Reserve on it.
Oh, really?
Right off Beck River Road, yeah.
Oh.
Off of Bedford?
Under the power lines.
Yeah, they were supposed to come in 2013 and do a meeting with us. I think I may have forwarded that in. Maybe I didn't. But everything got crossed, and it never actually made a presentation to us. But then they went ahead and put that area in anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we have some pull as to.
Great.
We have an environment that's specially for them, so we probably can get UNH to come down here and do some.
Okay. Great.
Some work on it or something. Or
Yeah, because they did a
training or something.
cutting project up there.
Yep.
Forestry project.
Yep.
I don't know the difference between the rabbits, but
It's hard
I
to
know
tell.
there's a lot fewer rabbits than there were when I first moved up.
Really?
Yeah, up in here.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting lots of. I'm sorry.
No, go
Continue.
ahead.
You done?
Oh, well, I mean,
Keep going.
you want to keep going with that, but I was going to go to something else.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
I just know if everybody saw the NHACC list of things coming up. So this is on April 23rd, mitigating wetland losses.
Yeah.
At the roast meeting, some people had talked that they were going to go. So I'm not asking you right now if anybody wants to go, but it does say it's $50 per commission. So if anybody wants to think about it, it's from 6 to 8:30. I believe it's on a Thursday night, April 23rd. So just putting it out there. That's it.
Okay. Gage?
Just a quick follow-up. We're, in your comment too, is we're seeing, I've had a couple folks sending me pictures of wildlife that's, hatching and being born and out frolicking about in the snow. There's a, right over in, it's a big development up here. All the kids, the whole town lives there. All the kids, they got their own sports teams.
Woodland Park?
No, the
Big development.
Reed's Ferry?
yeah, whatever it is, I can't come up with the name of it right now. Mallard Point.
Oh, yes.
So,
okay.
right up in Mallard Point, in that center section,
Yep.
there's a whole little not herd, but a group of wolves or fox that have just moved in, and there are babies out there running around and rolling around. Yeah, oh yeah, we got lots of pictures of them. And
That's the paucity of rabbits.
That's right.
yeah, that's the thing. So,
The more fox, the less rabbit.
there's lots of fox. I've seen quite a bit.
Poor rabbits.
I've been out back behind
It's
my
the cycle,
house,
man.
going out into Mitchell Woods and out in Forest, and we've seen quite a few bobcat tracks. There's a lot. There's Fisher out there. We saw tracks for that, and we've seen more fox tracks out there too. So there's wildlife.
Oh, yeah.
There's wildlife. There's more wildlife coming into town. So the rabbits may be trying to move a little bit. Some of the critters we've seen lately. So,
Which reminds me, the geese are back at Greens Pond Swamp.
Finally,
I
we
saw
found
them
a spot
today.
to land.
yeah,
There's a few open water places out
yeah,
there.
we're seeing a lot of. There's a lot of heron already out. Seeing them, seeing a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I had mallards in my pond today.
I saw mallards today too. Walked by and they were quacking away.
that's all I got. Idle chatter.
All right, so I only have one item. Thank you, Tom, for being our rep, just in case. This is your last meeting with us, so appreciate it. I appreciate your consistency of being here for the term that you've been here, so
Well, thank you.
it helps, so.
And I appreciate the work you put into this. When before these meetings, the stream of emails from you is just, I can't do that. Can you do that? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, you know?
Yeah, I try to schedule my time, but I don't get that opportunity lately. More, I get little bursts, so.
When you consider the time that I've spent on the commission and the scope of the work that you people have done, it's just great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the accomplishments, the forward thinking, the whole concern about what's going on and all that other stuff. It's really doing a lot of good for the town.
Yeah, I think we have a good body here.
Yep.
We all contribute, so, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your part.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
you're a
you.
good reference source to have here.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what people keep telling me. How do you know this stuff?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to go into non-public session. This is a roll call motion, and I need you to be very specific, repeat the RSA and the entire
Move
reason
to enter
why.
non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, small letter D. Consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property, which if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community. And also to review non-public minutes.
It's moved by Tom. Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Mike.
You were paying attention.
All right, so this is a roll call vote. So Cindy, how do you vote? Yes or no?
Yes.
Gage?
Yes.
I vote yes.
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 Tom, yes. All right, so that passes unanimously, 5-0-0. It is now 8:42 p.m., and we're going to go into non-public session.
Approved, and we looked at the numbers, and it was a little high. So what we decided to do is to scale back. So I'm going to run through the list of things that kind of changed from last time. The impervious surface got a lot smaller. We moved the storage area, which is the top part that has the fence around it, farther away from the abutters, which I know was a concern before. So that got smaller and moved to the south, which is the left side of the sheet. The amount of, therefore, because the impervious surface decreased, the amount of drainage area